When she said, don't let curiosity get in the way of your faith, I just thought, she could be talking about England. I am, and in many ways have always been, an immigrant. I may owe my existence to colonialism, but I was the first post-colonial child in my family, the first one to be born Angolan. As civil war struck, my parents and I fled to Portugal. I guess technically we were refugees, but the former motherland never labeled us as such. We were instead returning. The sense that I'd come from somewhere else was not just ingrained in my identity, but also something life would never allow me to forget. I moved to England at a time in history when doing so was essentially moving from one area of the European Union to another. I have now lived here longer than where I was raised, that place where my thoughts were shaped. Life still insists on reminding me that I come from somewhere else. My name is João Paulo Simões, and this is The Matter of Migration, a podcast where voices from elsewhere discuss the here and now, never forgetting what came before, so that together or individually we can reach a better place. For context, we're recording this on Wednesday, 27th of May, 2026. The voices you'll hear, other than my own, belong to Dominic Heslop, AJ, and Liz Von Graevenitz. Who they are and what they do will become apparent as this free-flowing final episode of the podcast unfolds. Shall we? Yeah?
You good to go, yeah?
You good to go? Okay. What I was saying is I usually have this a lot more prepared, although it's always like very free-flowing, very in the moment. I never came to one of these with questions ready, ever. Not a single question. I think maybe, Dom.
Yes, sir.
You could start by saying how we met and where my interest in having you here comes from.
Yeah, blessings. Thank you for having us. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. It's weird because we have a relationship before, you know, the kind of creative endeavors with my uncle and your son in primary school. Like that within itself was like, oh, wow, this was almost supposed to happen. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, we were part of a consortium that was trying to address some of the limitations for creatives, for organisations, for freelancers in and around Sheffield, which was more so governed by Sam Holland, what a guy. And from there, we started to share ideas. We started to, you know, look at ways of moving forward in terms of navigating, resourcing and opportunities and, you know, what the landscape would look like, the creative landscape would look like if we had access to different things. That's where we kind of met, and then it's just developed and evolved over time.
Yeah, indeed. And I ended up attending an event of yours, and that's the first time I heard AJ's voice.
Yeah.
Not doing what she does so well, but actually just asking a question to a guest that you were talking to. And I thought, I'll remember this person, not the guest, AJ. And then I went to see your documentary, and then I got to see AJ on screen, and then I got to see AJ live at the Showroom Bar afterwards as well. So the time came that we needed a young person sort of like to point us towards the future or some form of future. That was you. Yeah. Welcome, AJ.
Thank you so much for having us. Definitely, it's a privilege to be back in Sheffield and touching down on this. I listened to it a few episodes before I came, and it's like the importance of it, you know, and like you said, and the future. What are we trying to push now? So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Excellent. And we have Liz.
Hello.
How did you meet Zhao, Liz?
So we've always sort of like been on the periphery of all of the sort of like art world and people around Sheffield and stuff. There's always some connections going on, isn't there, between us? And then you approached me and asked me to help strengthen the funding bid for this project, as you needed a visual idea or representation to send off with some diagrams. So we met and chatted about that, and then I gave some ideas and was invited to be part of it with you and Sam, which was great.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, I mean, just to add a little bit to that, I would say that even though we presented you with more with the concept of an intention, I think your sketches, your previous work, examples of your previous work really pointed in the right direction that we needed for this installation that accompanies the podcast. Basically a listening area that's where people can step in. It's an immersive experience, sensory experience, and they can just listen to the episode that is launched alongside it. And this installation has been traveling around community venues in Sheffield, and it all still kind of feels like a work in progress, and she'll be the first one to say that is, she wants to add this, she wants to do that, and we realize that certain things could have worked out better and could have done this, well, it's work in progress. Yeah,
I think for me, because I work as an artist a lot on my own, so it's kind of like really special when somebody asks you to come and collaborate. And so sort of like hearing your ideas opened up those ideas for me to push them and myself and explore things and play. So that was like a really sort of like nice opening for the project of how it all like has been developing, because part of the project was for me to work in communities around Sheffield. Firstly, we did a workshop with Step by Step, who were a drama group of people who've come from all over, refugees, and come and lived in Sheffield, people who've been born in Sheffield. So really nice eclectic mix of everybody who's living in Sharrow. So I asked everybody to bring an object. They got a little bit of homework because they were already established as a drama group, and I asked them to bring something that was memorable or meaningful for them from home to the group. So like a lot of really emotional people coming together and just sharing stories and learning from each other. And then I also got to work with a group of young men from Chili Pep. I was so humbled in that session. I only got to spend like a couple of hours. I didn't know what I was going to do because obviously there's a language barrier. I'm walking into a room, they don't know who I am. I'm a woman. So the relationship, how they're going to interact with me, I'm sort of like managing that as I'm walking in and essentially trying to ask them to trust me and somehow get some information from them which can relay back to the imagery and the build and inspire the look of the pod. So I walked in and there was a guy from Vietnam, Syria, Congo, some Bedouin tribe in Africa that I'd never heard of. It was just so beautiful to see like all of these young, lovely men. As every single one of them, when they walked in the room, they all greeted each other and shook each other's hand, and they had the biggest smiles on their faces, and they were so polite. And then they got to me, and I was a stranger, and they like nodded their head or said hello, and I was like hello. And they were meeting each other for the first time as well. Some of them had seen each other. They've had quite traumatic journeys to get to here, and they're settling and couldn't wait to go to college. Just sort of get settled, make friends, join a football team. I'll just say this and then I'll let somebody else speak. Sorry. That's
fine. I'm going to edit you anyway.
So, I got them all to write hello in their own languages on a piece of paper for me. And then essentially I ended up with this like beautiful imagery of all of these words written in so many different languages that become like images, and obviously the story behind it and everything. Yeah, to sort of like take for the visual aspect of the pod.
Great. I will want to talk to you about the engagement you had. Some of the times that the installation has been in certain places and you recorded some conversations. We'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, catch your breath.
Can I have a quick fan? I'm melting.
No, I think it's a beautiful gift that you possess, because as people, as artists, we are not fixated. However, we have our art form and we kind of just stick with that. And I think being able to hold space for other people who have so many different experiences, I just think it's being open, really. Yeah, open and compassionate and just warming and inviting. Like all of those things are essential. Do you know what I mean? And just seeing the kind of amalgamation of all of everybody's ideas, the laughter, the fun, the spelling, the grammar, the experiences, and it's everybody's first time, including yours. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah. I think it's just like, I just see myself as a vessel sometimes. So you've just got to sort of like gather information. And I think, you know, like when you're singing, you're reaching out to an audience. It's like, it's the essence of the person or the soul of who you are, isn't it? That people connect.
It's energy, innit? It's energy. And like Dom was saying, it's such a beautiful thing to bring people together, like you said, within an hour. You've got everyone mixing and you're thinking already like there's a language barrier. These people are all from different experiences altogether. So it's like, how are you then making that collaboration effective? Do you know what I mean? And that's what it is, I think, coming away with a piece. And knowing that you've done that is energy. You know, I come out all the time and I think, that's Dom. I look at the audience and I'm like, do you know what it is? I don't think. And then it's not that. It's like what you bring and what you give, you get me? So it is energy, definitely, because I think that's one thing, no matter where you come from or what language you speak, we can all feel, and it's love, innit? It's energy. So yeah, I think even without understanding vocally, you can always understand someone and their heart, do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's big.
It's so mad hearing, you know, AJ, you know, the speak and convey certain themes. Yeah, I love you, man. I love you, fam. You just speak so well. Yeah, man, the journey, yeah, it's beautiful stuff, fam. Trust me.
Yeah, well, what I was saying earlier, the event that we attended, it was the Nina.
Oh, with Nina, yeah, my teacher, yeah,
You
miss.
were there and you asked the question and you put all the adults to shame because your question was just so intelligent and so direct. Dom, can you just tell us a little bit about SLAMBARZ, what kind of makes it, what kind of the shape that it has now, how it evolved, and AJ's role in it?
Yeah, so SLAMBARZ is a platform, it's a community, it's a network of young musicians, young creatives who just want to speak their truth. Essentially, that's what it is. And I'm so glad that we've maintained that throughout the years, even though we've had different collaborations and you obviously have to evolve in the way that you deliver said projects. We've always maintained that it's an opportunity for people to speak their truth. So over the years, we've been doing events, starting very small. I remember our first event was in 2017 in the Students' Union across the road from Sight Gallery, and we had like 30 young people there. Shout out Otis because he was there and a couple others. And then we did another event later on that year in the same space, but in a different room, and it just started to kind of grow a little bit. You're thinking, there's like 20-30 more people. Okay, like this must be, you know, a need that we're like almost fulfilling. And then we kind of had like a hiatus for like 5 years, and then we launched it again in 2022. But in between that time, I was facilitating some writing workshops, some like creative writing workshops. And a lot of the time when you are engaging with young people, it's like, I've just been at school all day, so why am I writing now? I'm having to come and write poetry and stuff like that. But I'd like to think that my approach is very much, it's quite free, it's quite open. It doesn't have to be like grammatically correct, or it doesn't have to have any sort of structure. It's just like write what you want to write. Do you know what I mean? And then we can sort out like the music after around that, if that's what they wanted to do. And AJ was one of the young people that we was working with 2021, and she came in hood up, and if I must admit, just like really in a shell, and you know, I'm not going to say nothing, and like I'm here, but I'm not really wanting to contribute or share certain things at this moment in time. And it was like, yeah, man, cool. But just her energy alone was just radiating like, I know you got something to say, do you know what I'm saying? And then we kind of had a moment upstairs in the studio where she mustered the courage to share something, and it was sick. It was just sick, bro. Just the hype and the elation of it was like, yo, bap. And from then, that AJ's moved from being like a young person who is kind of stepping into uncharted territory to now being one of the most prominent faces of our organisation, a person that other young people look towards, that I look towards, that like adults are looking towards, like, wow, like you are something different. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's almost like immeasurable. You can't really measure it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's just beautiful, man.
And that comes across in the documentary as well. Do you want to tell us your perspective on Behind the Bars?
Yeah, no, listen, that's deep. That one's deep, because he's had my back through more than music, you get me? So Behind the Bars, you know, sometimes I have these moments where I message Dom and I'm not. You know, you have highs and lows. But when I'm in my laws, I'm just so... I feel like I'm stubborn. Innit? And then you're like, nah, do you know...
You are stubborn.
It's like I need to fix up and remember what I'm doing this for as well. Do you get me? Like, obviously, Dom's brought me the stage and brought me the people. And to have them make me feel like I'm doing this purpose for a reason, do you get me?
Yeah.
Because we did the documentary where we was in the ends, innit?
Yeah, Slum City.
So that's where I kind of already stepped, right? So I'm thinking, I just come back. I swear I just come back from America or something.
Yeah.
We'll come to the studio, we're in Pirate with Oz. That was a heated day as well, I'm telling you, yeah. Me and Oz is throwing a paddy.
Melting.
I can't ride.
Melting in that
studio. We're on a timer. So you need to like do what you're doing, you know what I mean? So obviously me, if people are playing music, I'm like, all right, then pause it, let me write my bars kind of thing, do you know what I mean? He's running the track, SLC. Yeah, shouts. He's a sick producer. But like SLC's running the beat. Ours is there spitting and I'm trying to write. So I'm looking at him and I'm saying, bro, are you being for real? Like, you can see I'm getting hot. I'm getting hot as well. Like, from when I start touching my face, I'm saying, I need to get out of here. So I did, obviously. I found my own space in like... a
breakout room, like a kitchen. Like a shared communal
area. Yeah. So, it's literally that, like a kitchen, like. And then Dom found me as like, oh, see what you're doing. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, he's been here years deep with me by this point, so he knows me like that. So I'm like, fam, we obviously were patterned it. And we had, like I said, we had a challenge. So there was 3 teams of us, 3 producers, make a track from scratch, run it, and there's a competition at the end, you get me? And we was getting it filmed, documentary, like who are we behind the songs? What is the process behind it? How do different people deal with that? What are they writing? Do you know what I mean? How do you collaborate with new people? And yeah, it was very interesting because like I said, the documentary before was a completely different caliber. It was more personal. Whereas this was fun, but like, I was stressed, man. I was stressed. I'm not gonna lie, I was stressed.
Yeah. No, I mean, the documentary, I think it's, I really enjoyed when I saw it at the showroom. And one of the things I most liked about it is that you do get the sense that you're jumping on a train that is already in motion. It just takes you and you're just happy to go, and then there's the conclusion and it's like, whoa. So it's really interesting to hear now sort of like the behind the scenes, even though the film does capture your anxiety a little bit and all that, but to hear you speaking now, it's quite moving in a way because you can just see really the person behind the image and behind the talent sort of thing.
Behind the bars.
Behind the bars.
Can I just shout out director Jack Godfrey Jofsky?
Yeah, Jofsky the GOAT.
And Josh, AVI Archive. Just for context, we filmed this twice. The first time we filmed it in Pirate, shout out Pirate Studios and Studio for All for enabling us to have the studio hours to record this. And we filmed it in the middle of like June, July, and it was a scorcher. It was like 38 degrees. It was hot. You've got tight studios, high energy, you know, competition. It was scorching. And basically, I asked Jofsky, how was it? And he said, mate, we can't use this. Like, it's not really a good representation of the process, of the musicians. It doesn't really look clean or polished on camera. It just looks a bit messy. So we're like, oh my goodness, we've got all the artists to come out. Some people have travelled from Huddersfield, Manchester. You're thinking, oh my gosh, like, how are we going to do this again? And then we did a reshoot and changed the casting a little bit, but changed location. So rather than the Sheffield branch, we almost filmed it in the Leeds branch, which is the one that you saw. So I just wanted to shout Jack and Josh out.
Excellent. No, they did great work. I want to get into the tapestry of people that makes SLAMBARZ in a bit, but talking about people, I think I could bring in Liz back again because of her contact with the people that were engaging with the pod, with the installation in some of the venues. And Liz had the brilliant idea, in fact, of using a recording device and engaging with people in conversation. So it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts on that process, what came out of it, because I think you got quite different kind of reactions. Some of them weren't recorded necessarily, but because we did get also negative reactions in some areas, you know, it needs to be said. But you were very good at getting people to speak to you. So if you want to tell us a little bit about that, it'd be interesting to hear it.
Yeah, so where did we go? We went to... Well, we had the first one at Migration Matters, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then when it went on tour, we were at Crystal Peaks Library.
Yeah.
Which is very different to Zest Library, where we were in Upthorpe for the next one. It is a very strong reform area, and obviously we were raising quite a lot of interest. We're building this, it's 3 metres by 3 metres, 2.5 metres high. I've covered it in all of these like visual sort of like black and white contrasting like fabric depicting people's journeys basically of where they've travelled and stuff. So very graphic imagery all over it. In the middle of Crystal Peak's library entrance, and then you've got like the council people coming into their office because they've got all of the housing reception there and stuff to help people. You got people in the coffee shop just like literally there, and then people using the library, and it was busy. And I think what it is that if you've got an open heart and you don't judge people, I always ask questions and I'm not afraid to go up to people. Or if something funny happens, excuse me, I'm sorry, we're in your way. Or if you want to ask any questions, I'm sort of like I'm not shy. And obviously I was getting coffees from the cafe and stuff like that. So they got to know me a little bit. And then, yeah, so it was... I mean, I just need to be really honest here, don't I? So it ruffled a few feathers because obviously matter of migration at the moment with everything that's happening, people were sort of like, oh, they had something to say about it. And I was like, well, do you want to talk about that? Encouraging a conversation. Let's learn from each other. Like, what do you know? I can talk about my life experience and some of the people who I've met whilst working on this project. And then let's have a little chat about it. So we did. But it was very hard to get people to sort of like come and engage. But I think what it is that people were frightened of the unknown. So it's just like quite interesting, but you know, it's always important to raise a conversation, to ask those questions, to invite people, to engage them, you know, listen to the podcasts. That was the point of it. Come and sit and have a chill and listen to the podcast, have a chat, like, you know. So we went next to Zest, which is an amazing hub. You've got the swimming pool there, you've got like the food works, cafe, children, families, everybody all coming together to use the library space. Straight away, all the children are just running in, got the library books, they're sitting there reading their books, and they're all drawing pictures of their representation of what they see around them and stuff. You know, like, you just nurture it and encourage it and ask those questions. So a very different sort of interaction, which is why we do this. It's so important to travel with an idea to different areas, and because every person's voice is important and valid.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not wanting to say anything negative about the community of Crystal Peaks at all. I'm just relaying factually what we experienced.
May I just ask as well, like, with everything that's going on and all the noise around migration across the UK and especially in Sheffield in certain areas, was that specific area like, right, we need to go there to have these interactions, to kind of have these engagements, to kind of learn from each other, to kind of try spark some conversation around the installation, the podcast, migration, community Sheffield? How intentional was that location in your programming of the tour?
This is a question for Joao.
It is.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, essentially, that came out of the Sheffield City Council's involvement. They realized that this was happening and they supported the project and encourage us to take the nomadic experience of the podcast and the installation to, in their view, where it was most needed. There's something you said that just made me think of something else, but actually it kind of connects with everyone in this room in some way. I'll try not to go too much on a tangent, but just stay with me for a moment. When you said that people basically afraid of the unknown, it just made me think some time ago, I was watching cable news, American cable news, and I saw the widow of Charlie Kirk, the slain right-wing influencer. And she was talking at an event, you know, of their, let's call it far-right group, Turning Point USA, that's what it's called, isn't it? Yeah. And she was talking at an event after his death, and she said the thing that basically just, I realized that what she was saying, even though it was coming from a very specific place, it actually applies to the attitude, the context that we're living in, that is having these political ramifications or these manifestations that are based on fear of the other or suspicion or resentment or grievance. When she said, coming from an evangelical perspective, don't let curiosity get in the way of your faith, I just thought she could be talking about England. Not in the religious sense, but I think a lot of what we're going through, what's happening, is a lack of curiosity. Anyway, not too big a tangent, but that's kind of like what made me think when you said fear of the unknown, made me think about this. And I think one of the things that I find most striking about what you do, Dom, with SLAMBARZ and AJ and everyone, that's why I was referring to it as a tapestry of people. It feels so together and so unified, and it feels like really strong and a strong identity that is unique, but at the same time, it's not pandering to any demographic. It's not exclusive in any way. It just feels so inclusive and so diverse. It's almost like we're looking at some form of utopia, of a representation of a society in what the society has that is most encouraging, that is its young people. Everyone's so integrated, everyone's so different, but everyone's so together in their purpose, but never sort of neglecting their individuality.
Yeah, proper. I was listening then and I'm smiling. I looked at him and I thought, do you know what? That's spot on, because I feel like, I say they're my family. It's deeper than just music with us lot. You look at each and every one of us and we're all a different shade. We all come from different backgrounds. We all come from a different life pattern, and we relate with music. We speak to each other. Everyone's got their own different style and that. You know what I mean? But you don't look at people any different. Like, you know what I mean? We're all like there. It's one love. And even running back to about the curiosity, there's no space for negativity really. You've got a room full of young people, even down to the audience. Do you get me? And we've got all these young people that are from different ends, different backgrounds, and we all stood there unity. Do you know what I mean? We're unified, we're all one. We're here for the one purpose, and I think it speaks a lot. Do you know what I mean? It's mad. It's mad to think like you really did that. Like, you put that together. You need to take that definitely, because that's proper.
Yeah, I think, I don't even know, man. Sometimes like hearing the feedback of how, like Claire always says, oh, it's a broad church. And I never understood that. She's like, oh yeah, it's a broad church. I was like, what's that? She's like, yeah, it's just like a mixture of different people. And ultimately, you see in Jamaica, our motto is out of many one people. You know what I mean? And that speaks to the different textures, different flavours, different colours, different experiences. Everything in one melting pot makes the beauty of the island that we have in Jamaica. You know what I mean? And I carry that with me every single day. I don't know, trying to like transfer that into everyday practice isn't really hard. And then it just spills out. But ultimately, it's governed by everyone in the community. And I think a community is so many things, but for SLAMBARZ, it's definitely like an accountability partner for everybody. So we're accountable to one another in this space. And I think everybody grasps that the second they engage, and then that empowers them to almost pay it forward to the audience, to their friends, the family, other artists or musicians, creatives. It's just, I can't really explain it, man. I'm just grateful to just be, you know what I'm saying? I'm just grateful to be here, man. And,
it's your energy though, isn't it? That's what I'm picking up on, that creates that space where people like AJ can come and feel like they can show a little bit of the character and a little bit of the lyrics that they've been probably writing in secret.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What is it that you write about? Where do you get your inspiration? How does it manifest?
Yeah. So, I'm a storyteller when it comes to it. And I wrote poetry from a young kid. So I feel like that's how I could get it out. Like, even you could ask my mum, bless her, like, she'll probably go in my bedroom and find me. So I have to get it out, do you know what I mean? And I think that's where it started from, and it went into spoken word, but it was more deeper. Yeah, it was probably like a tricky time growing up, trying to understand where I came from and things like that, you get me? So having my mum there, like, she took me on, do you know what I mean, from a younger. So I always had still questions, like, who am I, what are my rootings? And then, like I said, I got to Dom, and he's like, oh, right. And I'm already thinking, oh, how am I right? And when you want to, but nah, don't really. And the bars are deep. They are. Like, before I could even structure them properly, just so exposed. Do you know what I mean? And
it's
just bare, raw. Yeah. Very, very. And that's one thing I didn't ever see it as a strength. Obviously, now it's different,
It saved you.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. When you believed in the way you are. Do you know what I mean? When you're growing up and you feel like we come from people that are like lower income, and you know what I mean, we've got neighbours we call auntie and things like that. Like, it's very dysfunctional, but it works. But like, when you come from such small places where people haven't really gone out of that calibre, it's kind of like you're not pushed to be there. Like, I'm lucky I got this opportunity, and I ran into Dom, and we formed that relationship, because I think if I never got pushed like that, I'd still be writing in back of books, and it won't be a case of me turning up and speaking, or me going to shows and telling the audience my story kind of thing. you get me?
You did
That's
that.
the thing. And that's the thing I have to say to every person that we engage with. Like, it's all right saying, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. No, we thank you. Because this doesn't happen without your contributions at all. I don't know, the word says many are called, few are chosen. And those that are chosen, they choose themselves. Do you know what I mean? And you chose yourself. Everyone in this room chose themselves, and they said, yeah, like, I'm gonna give a piece of myself. You know what I mean? And that's what it's about, man. It's just creating that space for that. Yeah. I just want to thank you, bro, because again, like how Liz was saying, to almost facilitate this for conversations, for laughter, for reflection, for art and community. Bro, it's a gift, do you know what I mean? Because you and the team, but especially yourself being the host, you are drawing things out of the guests that maybe they didn't even know existed within them. Do you know what I'm saying? So, real talk. And it's freestyle as well, so that's even like, do you know what I'm saying? That's sick. I'm saying.
Yeah, well, in a sense, it's also the way I see it is like, yes, this is one specific art form. It's audio, it's sound, it's podcast, it's radio, if you will, if you want to look further back in time. The way I see it, it kind of starts there in the same way that all those decades and decades ago, generations ago, it started with radio. And the way I see this project, and the installation is a manifestation and a representation of that, is that the project itself is a host for voices, but also I'd like to think that it can evolve into something more generative, can generate more expression in other art forms, stimulate, inspire. You know, that's really, really what this has been all about, really.
Yeah.
You want to tell us something?
Yeah. Because I was just listening and I'm like, before you even said that, I was going to say this is basically, from what I've listened to, it's like a blueprint, because even me, like, I have very, very strong beliefs, and change is big for me. Like, I'll stand on that and I'll keep screaming for the people until they listen. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like already it's a blueprint that this can run, and I feel like it's only going to turn into something bigger. You know what I mean? Like, we're starting to form that and like-minded people. So I sat listening, and it was late last night, and I'm thinking, nah, let me just listen to the other one. And I'm like, I was a bit nervous because I don't really know my roots, like I just said. But I think, like Dom said, you like the freestyle. It's all so natural. And I feel like I'm going to walk out of there and feel like you've healed some image, you know what I mean, from this conversation. And that's what it is. It's big. So even still going out there and then jumping on something where I can then maybe speak more on this, or let's roll out another episode or something. Do you know what I mean? Let's do a series. It's real. That's what it is at the end of the day. People can listen in and know more and hear more. That's what it is. It's a voice for the people, and you created that space, you get me? So it's going to change. It's going to change.
Appreciate it. Yeah. Liz, say something.
What I find is that a lot of communities live in their own little bubbles as well. And I just think it would be really lovely to use it as a vessel to change people's minds, to bring people together. I struggle to read sometimes, and I'm not great at spelling or articulating my words, so I was quite nervous about coming today and speaking. So some of the conversations on the podcast I struggled to get my head around, because I found them really quite intelligent conversations, and I didn't understand all of the words in it. I mean, maybe I'm just embarrassing myself, but I don't feel I am. I'm just being really honest. That's how I am. So conversations like this, and I think introducing lots of different people from different backgrounds raises confidence, doesn't it? It brings people together. You don't have to have a master's at university to share the same opinions. It's just some people have a gift to express them better than others, or in different ways. So yeah, and we keep getting loads of ideas of how to make the visual side of it grow and change and develop. Can it be outside? Can we do this? Can we do that? So it is definitely something that I think it would be so lovely to carry on. Where would you like to take it? What do you see? Do you know yet?
I don't know yet, but it's definitely along the lines of, from that perspective of being generative, of more artistic expression in different fields. So the way I see it could be perhaps that the pod as a structure can be a hub to host some sort of performance or some sort of screening. I actually stop myself from thinking too much because there's hardly any point at this moment. But it is there. The ideas are all there.
It's exciting.
It is. And thank you for your honesty there in the way you spoke about how you struggle to take in some of the content, because I find it just as interesting to hear somebody speaking not from an academic perspective and more from the heart and from that energy that you have as a creative. I mean, this to learn as well. So I'm not here like as the person that knows more than everyone and that, well, okay, now I'm letting you speak and now, I can hear from you. No, it's like, no, I'm learning everything that everyone said in this room today. I learned something, at some point.
Yeah, I think just to add to that, all of us have said something today and touched on like the humanity of it. Creating conversation with people, being open. We've all got the same feelings. We've all come from somewhere. We've all got a story to tell. That is what this whole project is really, essentially, like bringing people together. It's so simple, but that is what needs to be nurtured.
Vibes.
It's no joke.
It's no joke,
So what's next for you, AJ?
I feel like there's a lot that's happened recently. Do you know what I mean? So I've been quite quiet, but like the work's been there in the background. Of course it has. Obviously recently I've just moved to London, so I'm kind of in and out of Sheffield. So I think the next thing is get the festivals coming. It's festival season soon. Work on the EP. We've got quite a few things written there, recorded kind of demo like, but yeah, come back over, we'll do the EP. Yeah. But yeah, it's more so just giving back. That's what it is. So anywhere I can be, I am at the minute, especially for the young people, So yeah, work. I feel like that's all you can do, innit? It's not about, I always say to the youngers as well, I say, you're waiting for the right time. What do you think you're going to wake up tomorrow and your alarm's going to start singing? So you're saying, it's the day. It's not the day. Like, you've got to remember, like, you make that right time. You wake up tomorrow, do it. Just do it. Do it now. Yeah, consistency is key. You get me? So we're getting there.
That's it. Gratitude is the attitude.
That's too much pressure.
Okay, we're back.
The laughs and the giggles could be sick.
No, that's always
chopping out and
that's inevitable. Ricardo is going to turn into a photographer now and take some pictures of us.
Yeah.
We're done. Yeah.
The Matter of Migration is a Frontier Media production, co-produced by Arts on the Run, recorded at Springtime Studios in Sheffield, UK. Engineered by Ricardo Lourinho, edited and mixed at Audio Vault Casa Premium, with sound design by myself and final mastering at Rickmore Audio Solutions. This podcast and accompanying installation have been supported using public funding by the Arts Council of England, Community Cohesion and Resilience Programme, and Sheffield Town Trust. Special thanks to Migration Matters Festival and all the community spaces that have kindly hosted the pod.